front of us.
It very much could be. And by the way, happy birthday, Pala. Just wanted to throw that one out. As we are looking directly into party, why not? That probably would have been a better party place than the host desk. But jumping into the game, Team Finest versus Imperial, as we said, but it's Imperial starting things off on the T side, while Team Finest are on the defensive. Quick take here for Imperial as they look to enter on this right side of the map.
Yeah, they've just got a spotter out towards that party position for Kriaz. B-Stack coming through, nades doing damage onto Blessing as the quick BXE.
Oh, Anarkez locked behind the pillar there, still traded back. Anarkez with 2, maybe to find a third, and that's exactly what he gets. Now only 2 remaining for Imperial. It's Fur to find a headshot, and they're looking to bounce right back at them. Kriaz, he's all by himself all of a sudden, probably scratching his head. Where on earth did his teammates go?
Jeez, this got so uneasy for Finest, but Kriaz could be in for the clutch. He deals with the first and knows where Bolts is.
Bolts jumping behind, but also jumps up back into short position. Kriaz knows exactly where he is now. The thing is, Bolts is slightly lower than Kriaz is, so looking to turn around. It's all a matter of timing. Who finds who first? And Bolts is all he has to do is juggle and also find a head onto Kriaz. That's Imperial 1-0 on the board.
Jeez, there's a lot to unpack in that round. So you can get the immediate stance of, geez, B-Stacks, full Xe coming through. This is going to be difficult from Imperial. And we saw the way that Anarkez around the pillar was holding strongly. He's able to find so much action in and around the close angles. The issue is, where's the teammate support? Where's the trading that needs to come? He finds 3 in that round. Unfortunately, when the bomb goes down, nobody else does.
Yeah, no, the support for Imperial was just immense in that way. So starting things off strong here, of course, on the T side. AK's being thrown out straight out of the bat for Vinny, but Khalil's all around for the rest. Mac 10 for Fallen. And they're not really slow on their approach this time around, right? They might be walking their way into B, but it's a direct hit.
Yeah, funny enough, Finest are actually ranked first in the event for their pistol win percentages. Can't say that for the Star Hero Overpass.
No, Imperial just relying on Vinny to do all the entry work. Kriaz does find some damage, but this is an Imperial round written all over it. Bolts, he knows exactly where Kriaz will make quick work of him. Bomb left behind, but I think they're not too bothered about it. They'll get this round over sooner or later. It's
a slight surprise to see the USP round coming through from Finest rather than the Force up, rather than try and put that pressure back on and try and get the Force invest. And one thing, again, to go back to the Dust 2 matchup, the thing that Finest struggled with the most, Pavlos, has to be that slow start. The fact that they were down 3-13, it only felt like they were going once it was already over.
Yeah, and you can't really afford that to happen, especially when the stakes are this high. Talk about stakes, how do you like your steaks, Chet?
Oh, medium rare, it's gotta be.
Rare. Yeah, that's solid. Very solid. All right, well, talking about the real stakes, this is a matchup where if they do lose this series, they are down and out. And for the winning team, they'll get to play against the crowd. And for Team Finest, they'd love to play here, man. They've got Swedes, just basically the Swedish roster. I mean, there's only just a couple of them, but still, this is what really fans will be looking for. And if they do eventually make it to the playoffs, fans will love it.
Yeah, of course. They might love a little bit of Anarkez as well. Glass cannon on the EG.PA this round. They go for a nade stack out towards the boost position. Does at least tank Twist down to 33. Kriaz about 70 odd. Overall, though, the opening man advantage coming through from Shocks, a fair amount of information being gathered from the short control from Imperial, and the boost up from Kriaz spots information, but not quite a pick.
No, Imperial kind of left behind this B site, not quite finding the entry, especially once they lost Fallen there. The pace seemed to just got into a halt. But now with Team Finest, extra wraparound towards this B site, extra reinforcements bolts allowed the entry. Plesson not wary of that angle, and for that reason ends up falling without a single trade. Kriaz locked onto the other side of things. Shocks looking to make the difference for Team Finest, but so far, nade damage onto the back end, really causing chaos into the win. Vinny wanting more of it, but there's just too many angles, and them overwhelmed. Imperial get the bomb down.
Plenty of time to work with. Even if you don't have the kit, you've got to try and draw the fight out to the open, and the EG.PA finds that connection. Fur now down towards that grill position, forced into a clutch. He gets dinked into the process, and now Anarkez is the last one left.
Oh, Anarkez, he's got the right angle, he's got the right idea, and he'll get the defuse as well. That will be Team Finest on the board.
Okay, let's dig in to Anarkez. Currently the second highest rated player in this entire event. He had a slow start in the best of one on the first half, really brought it back on that CT side of Dust 2, and up against EG, he was an absolute freak show. He was top in the board when it came to map 1, map 2, impact frags, and everything including the EG.PA.
And, I mean, I want to see more of him as well. So much hope kind of rested on his shoulders. I mean, big pillar of this team. But they need to carry this momentum onwards. You alluded to the idea that they can't wait too long to get this ball rolling. And the fact that they're on the CT side here and overpass, it's a good sign for them to come.
That Twist, super aggressive with a teammate out towards Connector. This is a massive change-up. They paid the price for it, at least they get the trade.
It's a quick trade, and it kind of comes down to a standstill. Imperial not really willing to throw too many shoes at that fight. Although Fur may be able to find a different angle. Anarkez, the star player we just talked about, already out of the route of the round.
Just beaten with pace in that sort of situation. You can see how quickly that long control comes through from Fur. And Anarkez is just waiting for a reposition, trying to get back out to safety, play a passive angle. Doesn't quite happen. And now this is really going to test Finest because they're light on the HP. They're in a 3v3 situation. They need an info play. They've got to make the right call, and this relies down on Twist.
Slowly making their way throughout the map. 3 players very spread out for Imperial. Team Finest low. 2 of those players sort of stacking up together. Bomb still sticking around this right side of the map. Could be their best idea. Korea's going for a little bit of scouting duty to that upper park side. And all he'll be getting is just some mere information that nobody's there apart from Fur, and that's where he dies. That could be an opening here for Imperial if they choose to take it.
Lovely. That is very good discipline coming through from Imperial, just waiting for the mistake to draw through. And now for Pleasant, he's isolated. His teammate of Shox is going to be so late to rotate.
He's got all to do here. An important position for him. Gravity with this angle, but still, it's fallen to take that trade, so the bomb will go down. It's going to be a 1-on-2 for Shox.
Yeah, he's kind of have to go for it here. Money situation's not ideal at all. Try and get up towards that top of connector position. Needs to try and pull someone into the open. Needs to try and upgrade the weapon if at all possible.
Can he do it? Vinny's got the right idea. He knows there's something going around this endeavor, but of course with a longer ranged weapon, Shox will try and go around. No, just picks up the AWP and just walks away. Anticlimactic, wasn't it?
Yeah, it comes down to a smart decision, though. Realizes he's in a 1v2. Anarkez obviously would have been able to con that over, that he fell from Fur in and around the end of the long bathroom. So how winnable is that 1v2? Nothing's being presented. There's no fight being engaged towards the bathrooms. Out to Divider. Maybe if someone overpeaked in the post plant, there may have been a chance in which now he's just got to hide, not overpeak, not let that orb fall.
So a quick save here for Team Finest, keeping that AWP in play. But I think Imperial are going to be very happy about that round, the way it unfolded, the way they were able to find those picks and trade it out, really. And by the end of it, came out on top.
I can't wait to see more of Fallen as well when it comes to this series. We think back to that best of one against Finest. 29 kills, 15 deaths, averaging close to 100 ADR and a 1.74 rating. He was one of the key entities for that victory in the best of one.
Looking to be a key entity here, Anarkez, with the only weapon of Team Finest. Moving up, some damage found onto Fallen, but that's all it is. A missed opportunity for them to get an advantage in this round. Team Finest, I mean, they don't really support with anything else, just Eagles, really. So at this point, Imperial are looking to make this a simple round, not lose too many weapons, not drop too much damage to this Team Finest side. The Brazilians walk into the line of fire of Shox, simply out of it. That's the AK collected, and now Team Finest have doubled their rifle score.
Keep in mind, that's the only other player that's got some armor, so this could actually make more happen with the AK involved. AWP goes aggressive, takes the risk.
You can cancel that movement here from Anarkez, but Shox is able to find that AK and brings it back to the table. That is the Molly taking down Twist, but Shox wants more! Shox wants it all! And Kriaz is there to turn it around. Team Finest shouldn't have won that, but they darn did.
Mate, the Estonian really coming through. The highest rated player for Finest on Overpass in the last 3 months. And my goodness, think about that for a moment. You've got a hero orb, you've got a couple of upgrades. Shox obviously held onto that AWP, so he's got armor, gets a kill onto Bolts the lurkout from Monster, picks up his AK and makes something of it.
That's the kind of confidence you want to see from Team Finest, right? They were a little bit lingering yesterday on Dust 2, not really making decisions on those pushes and often stopped by Imperial, right? Utility thrown at their feet every time. But here we see them switch things up, right? They go for things that, I mean, look a little bit aggressive, although that was a very sort of round that wasn't expected for them to win, so you kind of expect them to go for something different, but it's good to see that from Team Finest.
Yeah, probably the information call there too from Imperial is, okay, hero AWP round is playing up towards Party and over towards A. Let's put some pressure down onto B. Let's try and make it uncomfortable for the Eco Pistols and just overwhelm them, and instead, look at their economy state. They're really struggling here.
They really are. Tech9 galore here for Imperial. They're looking to go in dry and fast, but not too dry. They've got a lot of flashes to liquidate this round, if you will. But if you look from Team Finest side, they've gone scouting themselves. They know what's going on right now.
Now, this is a misread for the moment, right? They're going to have to get players and bodies back over towards the B side. It's indicating a retake setup.
Yeah, they're happy to kind of give this room, especially if they can. That means they can play by the numbers. But if Bear keeps this up, if the rest of them keep this up, Team Finest may be in trouble.
Oh, this could be a shocker. What a round from Imperial, running into a B side that's so undefended. This is a tough retake for Finest.
Oh, dear. Oh, dear, dear, dear. 2 rifles for Imperial already. And Shock's trying to find another entry. They're looking to attack this from multiple fronts. Plesson falls victim to 2 angles. And Team Finest are making the decision to drop away from this. Imperial, they're able to topsy-turvy the round and bring it in their favor. Not only that, but they're taking rifles to the next round.
That's a pure punishment in a round like that. Finest having the idea that they wanted to make an information play up towards the end of long. In that fountain position, they had 2 players going into the bathrooms, 2 players up towards long, and 1 single defender of Plesson to hold off towards that B side. And the fact that he's trying to hang back at Graffiti, wants to play the time, and he doesn't find anything, instead just gets domed by that Tech9, really made it awkward to get into the right position.
Let's have a look at that one again, right? Fair. Just feeling it. Fallen fully flashed, by the way. It's interesting to see how those ones happen, but yeah, a little bit off by Team Finest there, and they'll definitely want to recover this one because they are working with very fine margins.
Now even the double AWPs, you saw a lot of this up against the best of 1 and in the best of 3 context. We know that Kriaz and Plesson are the 2 players that can hold the second big green. Twisting towards Connectors, receiving quite a lot of those nades, and Kriaz just hoping for some more bank shots.
Yeah, might be able to find something, but not too successful so far. At least it's given the idea that he is in that position, but
he's got one now.
Ooh, there you go. Vinny is down low a bit. Plesson does take a chunk himself. But there's a booster Reno coming in. Ooh, that's a spray down. Now that opens up the B site for Imperial.
That's a sloppy mistake there from Finest. Think about these last few rounds, how much short water control has been taken there from Imperial. They get the boost up, and it's just the unawareness.
Yeah, it's a little bit too rough here, but Arnicus is going on an excursion, and he's got a body with him. No! He misses a shot, and his teammate dies. That is the worst case scenario for Team Finest. They were lacking in that numbers department, and it just takes them a little bit further. But Arnicus isn't leaving away from this. He wants to go in for further kills. He's flashed over. Twist also finding damage towards the site. And Vinny's held back by Arnicus.
Yeah, Vinny's in a tough position because obviously he's got the bomb and doesn't have much support at all. Anakez dropping that bomb. What a recovery that is. When you think about the uncomfortable nature of the play forward at long, they recover it, and now it looks perfect.
That sequence just didn't look like it started on the right note, but Anakez somehow is able to flamboyantly make his way out of that. Now Fallen and Bolts looking to recover. They've got some time to work with, but that bomb needs to get to his site in quickly, and I don't think that is possible at this point. Bolts may look for some damage, and he will be able to find it. Twist is not looking in this direction, so down he goes. Good enough to turn around and find a dink, but not enough damage for the kill.
Kriaz just thinking about keeping that scout option, just keeping an eye on, casing any walk around that comes through from Bolts. Bolts knows he just doesn't need a peek, hold on to the weapons. And what we're seeing right now is both teams obviously really targeting the economy. We're in a stretch where we haven't really seen a streak. We saw the 2 rounds in a row of the pistol and the anti-eco from Finest, and that's kind of it. We've had some back and forth rounds, we've had a couple in a row, but it's really targeting the money to be super limited.
Yeah, it is getting a little bit tough, and for Team Finest, I'm sure they'd want to get a streak going sooner rather than later, otherwise leaving it to the T side. Against Imperial on this map, yeah, that's not going to happen.
No, and for Imperial, we've obviously seen some very good performances from them in this event so far. Obviously, the best of 3 against Astralis, the fact that it goes the distance of 3 maps, the fact that it goes 29 rounds come the final map, which was, of course, Overpass. They want another crack at it. They want to try and see if they can turn that revenge into a victory.
They may be able to do so. But of course, only 3 rounds for them right now. Double up setup yet again. They do have the Kishing for it.
XM? Question mark? What's going on here?
Oh, yeah, you're right. Shocks.
I'm keen. Let's see what happens.
Yeah. So far, there isn't contention towards that XM's position, so not yet, at least. We won't be seeing it come in hand, but the connector play doesn't negate that Plesson will have a little bit of a party himself. Wants to go in for more. Get a chunk of that, why don't you? It's a tasty one. And now it's down to 2 for Imperial. All down because of Pleasant's positioning.
My goodness, what a king of connector right there. And you just saw from Imperial, very light on the util, not putting the molly forward, not having a flash, peeking one by one, isolating those individual jewels. And now for Pleasant, smoke it off, play the time, you've got the bomb control. This round is theirs, and now they've just got to think to themselves, okay, how can we tighten up and not give away some silly deaths?
I just feel sorry for Shox for not being able to show his XM prowess, you know?
Round's a round, he'll take it.
Yeah, it's a round. Maybe we'll see it next round, unless he's got money to buy up another weapon, and then the XM dreams are over, Dweg.
For Imperial, the dreams are get as much damage out of this one as possible, and know that recovering that bomb is going to be very difficult out towards connector. And as a whole for Finest, they're just super passive right now.
Ooh, Fur. Getting his hands a little dirty. Twist can smell the stink. But no, okay, he's just playing with us. He's just swinging past it little by little, kind of trying to make us think that he's going to go in for it. But no, he's just holding back in case Team Finest get a little bit too aggressive. But yeah, that is Team Finest also finding the equalizer here, Dweg. That is going to be 4-4. Now they're starting to chain rounds together. Where that is continued is a question to come. But looking at Imperial's economy, next round may look pretty fruitful for them.
Yeah, and this comes down to a situation now where the scrappiness is only going to continue moving forward. It doesn't feel as if it's going to end anytime soon. And for Finest, I would almost imagine this is their domain when things get really scrappy, because that's typically how it is in the online scene, and that's normally how a lot of their victories come through, the close affairs, the back and forth nature when the pressure's really on. Getting to see some very good signs out of certain individuals, Pleasant in particular in that round, made it look like a breeze.
So I kind of wanted to ask you here, Dweg. I mean, Team Finest got a very solid victory against EG. That best of 3 never looked like it was out of control for them. Do you think they'll be able to have the same ability against Imperial? Maybe we can wait a little bit on that question as Fair look to regress towards that molly, but maybe a topic for another time. Shox may put that XM into good use. The AK prevails and they do enter the site. Onwards they go. Team Finest looking to keep that trade close onto that short angle. Anarkez keeps it going. Twist needs to turn his attention towards it. Very successful up against Fur. The only rifle now out of existence here for Imperial, but the smokes will allow them to cross onto the site. On top they go. Fallen with more. Plaston. Oh, he was in trouble there, but Imperial able to stabilize for a little bit.
Oh, try and get that bomb down, but the spam's just continuing forward, and now things get so awkward here for Fallen. Try and get the bomb plant in, but it doesn't happen at all. Notice the protocol there that comes through from Finest. So they've got, obviously, the monster hold coming through from Shox. He kind of gets caught out guard. He's jiggle peeking. He's trying to see if he can spot for information. Gets the XM. Doesn't quite draw it in time. They then find Anarkez in a position where, okay, he gets a contact jewel. He founds a kill, but he gets smoked off. Instantly, he boosts Pleasant up on top of those sandbags, and that was the element of surprise Imperial weren't ready for.
Yeah, and I guess this time it can give us time about what kind of Team Finest have been doing correct against EG and whether they'll have the opportunity to do that against Imperial. What do you reckon?
I think consistency was key in that game. We saw some very good defaults from them. When I look at Finest, obviously, we can sit here and say, oh, Anarkez is a sick player, and obviously he's been doing really well in this event. You've got all round a very solid lineup here. You've got riflers with a fair amount of experience in the tier 2 scene. You've also got riflers that could put up good numbers. And I think for Finest, keeping it simple and not overcomplicating the defaults and their standard style of play and playing comfortable and playing how they like is got to be the best way forward. And already it just feels as if they're on a much sounder page than what we saw from them previously on Dust 2.
They definitely seem a little bit more comfortable, for sure. Of course, they can solidify an advantage here. Anarkez could be in trouble, though. Look at all these Tech 9s just rushing right at him. Oh, they're coming. But he does stop too. At least that's a good point. But an AWP recovered could find some damage.
Yeah, Krea's got to try and get out of trouble as well. That AWP aggressive. And now Twist goes down 3v3. You start thinking to yourself, is this winnable?
Yeah, give Fallen another opportunity and might as well will be. Of course, if they walk into the crossfires of Krea's, oh, Fallen! That could have been it. Oh, but Plaston puts him to an early grave, and unfortunately, it isn't it. At least for Imperial. For Team Finest, they're pretty much happy about that, relieved. But wait a second here. FNX has walked past this. The B site is now theirs.
Just when I was going to give some praise for Shox of over-rotating, look at what happens. He just catches the timing, and the AWP actually deals with that B player. Knowing there's 2 rifles in play, this is doable.
A Not versus Op, an M4 versus M4. Team Finest shouldn't be in the position they're in. Bolts of a shot that he shouldn't have missed, but turns his attention towards Plesson, and down he goes. Kriaz with all to do to recover it for Team Finest. The moment we are praising them for the rounds they've been getting one after the other, now he needs to come alive for his team. They will not. Imperial just take one out of the bag and equalize.
Oh, what is going on? We are seeing some wacky rounds right now. And in all fairness, that should never happen. You've got aggressive players up against an anti-eco. Finest know better than that. That's over-peaking beyond belief. Anarkez getting close towards that party position. Kriaz getting caught out into the open. And then Shox, okay, he catches the timing, starts moving away, thinks about the heaven rotate, and the AWP of Bolts out of all players makes that possible in the post-plant.
Oh, Team Finest hopes to play in their home town, I'd say, home country. To be backed by their crowd is starting to get a little bit more difficult as Imperial are getting themselves in really good positions here on the T side, and now they've changed up the pace, going a little bit slower, and that is kind of difficult on the Team Finest side.
Or Orp duel, Anarkez falling. You know the way that Plesson's aggressing up towards party, at least finds the response, but getting out of here could be difficult.
Yeah, Plesson. Oh, he wants more of it. The flash is well timed, but Fallen has got the backline of Plesson covered. Twist aggressing with a 5-7 actually, and that's through connector. Shox finds another. It's all cross-started throughout the map, and Fallen all of a sudden finds himself by himself. That is a classic Fallen shot. What a shot.
Vintage right there for Fallen. Now the question is, what more can obviously be presented? We've seen the way that Finest have been able to shut it down in Con. Plesson playing up in party. The fact that the information was already there, that on the initial contact, he still finds a multi-frag. And Fallen's got time. He's got the bomb. He's got some utility. He's got some armor. If he can get this one pick towards A, this could be the acceleration forward.
The Brazilian commander now looking to make the difference. Finding two. This should be a clutch ace for him if he does achieve the impossible. But you can slowly see the time is ticking. And it's getting away from him. Little he walks and little he gains. Twist behind, it's read by Fallen, but Twist gets the better of him, and that is Team Finest getting back that lead.
And just feel there from Finest that things get maybe a little bit awkward from the initial stance, but recovered well. Twist, obviously with that 5-7 playing out from Connector, was one of the big difference makers. But Plesson, again, we saw it previously a few rounds ago. We've now seen it again up towards a party position. He's on good form today.
He really is. Like, you love to see that. I always love seeing these cam segments between the games, you know, how they interact with each other, how emotional these coaches get with their players. It's always good to see. And for Team Finest, it's always been very composed, as if it's friends playing with each other.
Yeah, and this is a side in which, or an org in which we could really say that it obviously struggled to find the right fit. We saw last year there was about 32 roster changes that came through from Finest, players just coming in and out all the time. Stand in Central, it's now been a solid few months where we have not seen a player change. Ma obviously got benched earlier on into the year. They brought in the two guys over from Savage, of Twist and of Plesson. Since then, it's been stable.
It has been. And they've achieved a lot online, at least in the Tier 2 scene, but now they're playing up against competition they've never really gone through. I mean, you can take an exception of Twist, of course, but there are some players here that are fairly new to this level of Counter-Strike. Imperial going to put their faith on Fallen and FNX for this round.
I like this, and do you know why? They've realized, anti-eco again, remember what we did last time? We went aggressive and we got punished. Okay, the round's not exactly the same. You've got an AWP in for Fallen and you've got the AK for FNX, but they realized the economy's not great. It is so much more deeper and it's so much more controlled because they've realized these sort of rounds when we've got aggressive hasn't worked.
Might have worked once, but it's hard to achieve that consistency. Imperial slowly moving in towards the toiletry position as well, taking up upper garden control. It seems that Anarkez may be wary of it. Timing could be an issue though. They've already managed to cross towards the left side corner. Fallen in command of that, never dropping that shot ever. And Plesson maybe put Chief in command in this position onto that A site. Still holding on strong as Bolts is taken low, but he needs to be wary of the off angle. And does he have the reinforcements for that? That is the question. Twist is close by to assist him, but they'll slowly run out of utility to throw at them, and they're slowly running out of time to do that. Imperial will start to infiltrate the site, and it's Vinny to entry frag now with a P250. Pistols all around, but it's the heavy hitters that look to do the damage. But it's the Tech 9 to entry. All of a sudden, Imperial have got full control, and Team Finest on the outside looking in.
Nah, mate, this is save call. This is save central, and it just felt as if there for Finest, there was a misread, there was a miscom, whatever it was. Plesson was holding passively from the bank position, but you already saw Twist moving away. They had the indication of an A fake in that situation. They wanted to stack up B heavy, and it comes down into a stance of a slight hesitation. That movement off the bomb side when your teammate goes down, and from that point onwards, you've got 2 on B, Twist is out of position, you've got to call it. You've got to save.
You've got to save. Oh, it can't feel good for Team Finest to drop these rounds. Imperial really holding on. It's like they've just thrown a noose at them and just pulling towards them as if they're cowboys at this point.
And
with their last
rounds where the money's limited.
Yeah.
And this is where Finest are going to look at it and say, right, rifle v rifle rounds are actually done pretty well. When we're playing up against a Hero AK or an AWP, a couple of upgraded pistols, they're struggling. And that was something, actually, that we saw quite frequently against EG yesterday, is that the rounds in which the Americans had light buys, Finest struggled the most.
Yeah, it's really weird to see that consistency in the rounds that should be most consistent, but in the opposite manner than you would have expected. And now it's Team Finest on a little bit of a rough buy. Plesson not really working with a rifle this time around, kind of having a hand cannon to work with, going for a fairly deep positioning himself.
Chocks?
Oh, that's aggressive! It works out.
It's ballsy, it's very dry, and it's wrist sentry. And right there for Finest, that is something that Imperial are just not ready for at all. Their own re-smoke towards Monster, not even popping through it, but jumping out towards that left-hand side. And when you know you're already limited on a buy, the Plesson's on a deagle, you've got to try and make a bit of risk, and it pays off.
Yeah, how often can you make that happen, though, right? It's not often you can expect Imperial to fall victims to that. So for Team Finest to pull that off that quickly here on this round could really elevate their play.
Yeah, Fallen just charging with that AWP. Spam coming through from FNX. Actually towards that connector boost wall. So it comes down to at least the response to drop Kriaz. And see the rotation coming up from Anakez with that AWP too. At least he's defending the site, which looks to be hit.
Team Finest. Polarized across both sites, 2 defenders per side. Seems that Team Finest may want to assist the B site a little bit more now. Anakez is the solo defender here. With everything to do, really.
This is tough. Take a shot, take a contact, put the incendiary down. Rotations are going to be slow. If you can get a multi-frag, that would be the best case scenario.
Oh, wouldn't that be great? Wouldn't it be great if they just lined up for him? But he doesn't have much room to work with either, right? Not many positions he can fall back to. That's a shot connected, but it's not a kill. Throws an incendiary in front of him, but needs to shot back again for falls. Vinny looking for the sideline, but it's FNX to get the job done quicker. Team Finest, though, were quick to rotate.
And they're holding down that con play. They're waiting for the CD to come up, but Vinny with the bomb's going to get caught, and the time's not there. The round's done from Finest hit here. And just don't have it, do ya? When you're playing with that little on the clock, you've got to get that bomb down. What a hero moment that is to get that aggressive behind the truck, because you know, I get this kill onto Vinny, round's done. 2
instances of over-aggression here from Team Finest that actually pay off, pushing through smokes, and the last one was the most crucial one when the time mattered. Imperial left that to the last second, couldn't afford a risk like that, but of course they did, and that is where they fall.
Yeah, Finest holding on to their lead, but ever so slightly, and this is where we get into the conversation again of the back and forth rounds. Hardly ever a lead is getting found between the two. A lot of damage done to Kriaz, and Plesson's been spotted out in the open.
Oh, Kriaz, yeah, he has been, hasn't he? Imperial now will want to take more out of this. A chunk out of Twist, HG grenade maybe to finish him off. Sidesteps it.
Oh, the XM's back in play.
Ooh, you love to see that.
If Bolts goes for a walkout, any sort of lurk attempt towards Monster, that could be an easy connection. Lack of information as of right now. Imperial really slowing the clock.
Oh, Shock's just waiting and it's not checked, is it? It's not checked, and he gives the info to his team, expecting a second player to come out of that. Doesn't wait for the range to get too far. That's an AK.
Yeah, just wanted to trigger discipline in case there was a further walk, that it was actually more than just a single individual. Even Annika is getting close towards that spam, wants to play aggressive behind this divider wall.
All right, Team Finest. Oh, Annika is up against the smoke here. Oh, doesn't even get flashed by that. Was in front of it. No effect to him at all. Quick kill. And they're just sustaining that position. Don't really want to fall back. Oh, and it pays off. Even though he's blind as a bat, still achieves to get one. And now Imperial down to 2 players. A little bit lost, really, considering this 2 on this A site defending.
And the time's low again. We've seen this situation before, only previously in the last round. They've got to get the entries onto the side.
Oh, twist there with the MP9. Perfect lineup there with a longer distance shot, but Pleasant will be able to delay it. 14 seconds he's playing with. He does end up falling. And now all of a sudden we're down to a one-on-one. Fair. He's got a chance.
Oh, hang on.
Oh, he's so close.
He's going to do it again.
Oh, he does it.
2 times in a row now. We've seen that play of walking forward, getting towards the truck from the dumpster position and denying the bomb going down. Very good attempt there from Fur. Again, you're in a difficult situation. You're in a 1vx. We've seen him be in these sort of environments before where he's got to deliver. While he gets away with a couple of kills, it's no more than that. Finest find their 8th.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of seeing troubled faces on the Team Finest camp still. I mean, yes, they found the advantage. Yes, they guarantee they'll be ahead at halftime. But I'm sure they were looking for more.
You'd imagine so. Finest, no, they're up against one of these shoddy buys again. Annikez with the NWP. Of course he hits it.
Of course. Oh, I would have said of course he hits the second one, but of course it's fallen to shut him down. Not with an AWP this time around, it's just with a Tech 9. His little buddy.
Oh, it's quick. Look at how fast they're already picking up A, and that's because of the gap opening up for Annikez and Con. Pleasant's hearing the info, but he's outside.
Yeah, they don't care. They just move in. They demand the space, and maybe again we'll be seeing a shaky buy from Imperial overwhelm this arsenal of Team Finest. Now Vinny, he's close by next to Bank, looking to go for a break-in, steal some cash, steal some names, but no. Twist, the security guard, is able to deal with them. Kriaz as well is finding their entry. So Imperial left with 2 here. Fallen's got an all-important angle with an AWP to work with, though. This is who they'll be relying on, holding his ground for more. Fern able to put the pressure for too long. Fallen with another, that's 3 kills. But the bomb has time to get defused, which means Team Finest are 9 rounds in at halftime.
They had to work incredibly hard for that. But at the same time, I think it showed in the rounds in which got scrappy that they were the ones that came out on top. The trading game being really quick right here on Overpass. We've now seen a slight lead going into the second half. Annikez having a little bit of a smile, probably thinking 9-6. It's a good half for us.
Just seeing that smile just reminded me what we saw earlier on from these teams when they were in their team hurdles, kind of giving that pre-game brief, and I could see Krias just pat his head.
Yeah.
that was just a funny moment. And you love to see it, you know, the camaraderie. These guys have gone through a lot on the Alliance scenes. To now be on LAN, it's a big step for them.
Yeah, of course it is, but they also have to know what's going to come up now with Imperial on the City side. We've seen for them that they're currently 2nd in the event for round win percentage in 5v4 situations. Always so dominant when getting those opening picks. So if Finest really want to give themselves a leg up, opening kills are going to be so important here.
Well, the pistol round could define whether this gap is closed sooner or rather than later. And it seems that Imperial have the right amount of players to fend off this onslaught. Twist will be first to enter the Death Realm. Oh, but Vinny wants to bring home some more. Plaston and Kriaz, they've turned it around, Weg. They've turned it around. Plaston has gotten a couple, which means Bolt is all by himself.
Yeah, Pleasant was a king yesterday on EG when it came to the pistol rounds, and right here for Bolt, at least he's defending the right side.
Yeah. You could give them that benefit, but I think they just realised where he is. Ooh, that's the bomb by his feet. Fancy another headshot. Well, that headshot is on his own head, not the one he would have liked. But still, that's the pistol round for Team Finest.
Yeah, Pleasant actually the best player in the event when it comes to opening kills. So that's always something we've got to keep an eye out for him, especially on the T side, is being that entry man, opening up space, allowing his team to really capture. And when we think about the connector control, it gets a little bit back and forth with the trades. Pleasant's the one that gets them out of trouble, getting the kills elsewhere before focusing down on Con.
Team Finest are going to like winning that pistol round. Really going to like it. That gives them some breathing space. For Imperial, I want to get all cuddly, get up in their faces, give them a smooch. There's some soft bullets, but it's hot lead on their faces. And all of a sudden, those are 2 rifles.
Oh no, not one of these shaky buys again.
Oh,
Can
no.
we even call it a buy? There's hardly any upgrades whatsoever. At least they've got the B side, but they've got to contain themselves now.
I mean, they've got on the B side, but the bomb was all the way towards spawn, so it's taken a long time for it to get there. So it hasn't even started ticking yet, and Imperial are already there.
And they've got to get some kills. That's what they've got to hope for in this situation. And knowing you've got 2 MAC-10s at this kind of range, it's going to be tough. You've got to rely down on this Galil.
Oh, this is difficult. Oh, this is so tough. And if you're Team Finest right now, you better be hoping for kills to come in your way. But Imperial going to play the trade game, going to play together, look to swing out from multiple positions. That Shock's already down, looking for a boost arena over the smoke. That's the MAC-10 to find some damage, but not enough kills. Damage again onto FNX. He's not going to be touching the bomb. Or is he? Shot from fur. The bomb is being defused. The defuse kit is there. Oh, shut down. Not just yet. But how long will you hold on? The BM knife kill for Imperial to get them this follow-up.
Oh my goodness, we saw an anti-eco round go the way of a victory in the last series. I didn't think we'd see it again, Pavlos. That's heartbreak for fighters. They are so light on the upgrades. We're talking about pieces of util, and they have lost to that one. That has got to be so frustrating for Finest, and an absolute achievement out of nowhere from Imperial. What a steal.
They keep on delivering with these pistol rounds, man. How does that constantly happen? Sometimes I wonder, is it Team Finest falling flat? Or is it Imperial also just feeling alive when they've got those miniguns?
I don't know, mate. But the way that I'm looking at it is, let's just take the example of the anti-ecos not going the way they did. This could be like a 13-4. This could be so much more of a one-sided scoreline from Finest if they can just tighten in those sloppy rounds. And you could just see there from Twist, it's not the best outcome at all. You've got to be annoyed at that one, but you've got to stay composed. This is the first map in a best of 3. You're looking to try and strike here on Overpass, and knowing that it's Imperial's map pick, this could be the best chance in the series possible if Finest want to get the upset.
Oh, it really is. It really is, and they're starting to just fall away from their hands, slipping through their fingers. Oh, this is a shaky buy from them as well, and they haven't had the impact that Imperial has had when they've gotten these weapons. You can't be too comfortable if you're Team Finest right now.
Even Fallen, so much more defensive than what Anarkez was when we think about the majority of that first half. Slow contact, not a lot of utility have been used, and very silent getting up to this divided position. They are going to rotate a couple of players though, because the CTs have taken short water.
Molly to delay at least one of these angles. Imperial have got the right idea. 3 plays towards A. Not going to be an easy feat for Team Finest to unravel themselves into this.
So light with the util. 2 smokes and a flash. It's going to have to be dry on the majority of these fights. And just knowing that Imperial is now starting to take some of this map control back, the fights are going to come to them. And
it hurts that it's got to be dry. There's still a lot of smokes in the Imperial camp. You know they'll be throwing off and closing off those entries, but here comes the first frag for them at least. They can't afford any more trades. They need a clear advantage. That is Twist, keeping it going. Can you bring it on? It looks like they can. Pleasant feeling alive, and now the A site can be taken over.
Mate, even Shocks is still holding for the top of Con to make sure that rotation comes in.
That smoke went way off the mark though, which means it gives space for Imperial to work with. The bomb doesn't go down yet, but unfortunately for them, they do drop most of their players. It's all down to Venny, and I think he's already moved away from it.
Yeah, he doesn't have the idea and the inkling of just how low some of the HP members are, but you could just see their Twist playing in and around that divided position, gets 2 kills. Shocks is holding from the top of bathrooms, waiting for that wraparound to come through from Bolts in Con, and as soon as that connection gets found, that's Finest opening up the A site and finding their 11th.
Beautiful from Team Finest there. Little to work with, knew exactly what they had to do, and executed to perfection. Now they'll be saving quite a lot of weapons here. I'm sure Shocks will be on the lookout for a rifle to upgrade his MAC-10. But that is them staying composed, not really allowing Imperial to feel too comfortable with their own economical situation.
And just keep in mind, this is the first international LAN for Finest. If they can come here, take on a team that they've already played before and make their way to the stage with a core 3 Swedish lineup, this would be dreams for a few of them.
For the people at home, you're not looking what we're looking at right now, but there's a stadium in front of us and we can imagine it being filled to the brim with Swedes. And you better know that they'll be cheering on for the Team Finest squad if they do make sure they do get themselves this victory. But it is still a tough endeavor. It's still early days, Dweg.
Yeah.
we're looking at the first map of what could be 3.
Yeah, that is very true, but you also need to take into account how this game has gone so far, how the next map is Vertigo, the map pick of Finest, that you can start sort of getting that inkling of, okay, Finest are here to play, they've given themselves a solid lead, even though there's been a couple of mistakes here or there, they have still been able to put on a very good performance. And we've just got to see more from some of the big dogs. Fur, currently ranked 5th in the event for kills per round. Where is he when he needs him the most?
You really need him to step up. You can see Imperial a little bit frustrated, right? Not feeling as comfortable as we saw them last time they played against Finest. Definitely being pressured. But they do manage to scrape up a buy and fall in us on the AWP, and I think that's so important for them.
Early molly going down towards that short position to indicate any aggression in here for it. Very quick play from Finest to take short water.
Yeah, they just want it fast. They want Anarkez in a very aggressive position. They want to try and use him to get that early numbers advantage. They may be able to do so, Anarkez. Oh, little does he know if he had his crosshair a little bit further to the left, he could be competing with 2. But no, Imperial playing it a little bit safe. And this could be the timing. You're never going to miss that one, are you, mate?
Anarkez, highest in the entire event for success in opening duels, and that round sparks exactly what we've seen so far. Aggressing forward, taking that risk, but having the patience of holding the line and finding the connection.
It's beautiful to see. It really is. All the pieces coming together from the grind these past months for their side. Those online tournaments now paying off. Multiple teams would have loved to have that journey, right? Imagine the Entropiq, the Sinners that have hardened themselves at the top of Tier 2 to have the competition now on land straight out of the bat. But now it looks like they've got something in mind. That ace like Fur, you're in trouble, mate. Out into the open, and that's Anakez's shot, of course, to grab that kill. Still, mollies are falling by the feet of Imperial every single step of the way. Wherever they step, the floor is lava.
Excellent. Thoroughly impressed in a round like that from Finest. The fact that they get Anarkez in that sort of position, they then start taking the long control and the util. The molly to go out to that cubby left-hand corner just forces the fight into the open. And then not only does Pleasant find one, but follows up. That second entry towards the truck and pizza position. Perfect crosshair placement. 12 on the board now for Finest. And if you're Imperial, you are sweating hardcore right now.
Yeah, it's proactivity from Team Finest to actually get them on top. And Imperial are a little bit troubled in this instance, right? What do you start doing? Do you play ultra safe? This was a round where they played ultra safe, right? They weren't really taking too many risks with these pushes. And they still got infiltrated very quickly.
Yeah, I think you'd have to imagine coming into some big sequences and maybe trying to put some more pressure down on aggressive maneuvers. Haven't really seen map control being taken out towards short water and fountain on a consistent level. It has been quite back passive. Just see some of these frags coming in once again, and even that hunt going down onto bolts can make such a difference in the long term, knowing that you've only got a handful of rounds to win until this map is yours.
But they will look at economy. I think if we win this one, they have shit buy, right? The next one. This is a force buy. And the next they have shit buy. So maybe
The pressure is mounting. Trying to calculate how the endeavor is right now for Imperial regarding their buy. Obviously, it can't be too fruitful. They've had difficulty on the CT side. We expected this to be their strong suit, but it hasn't proven to be thus far up against Team Finest.
We know that for Imperial, they're currently ranked last in the event on CT side for percentage of deaths traded. And just knowing the way that we've seen this CT side so far, the trading game has been a little bit more on the poorer side in comparison to what we saw from Finest. This could even be the quicker B play.
Yeah, this could be a very quick B play, and it could be for good reason. Imperial stacking towards the upper park side. There's only one player left here to give the information. Bolts is a dead man standing, or may I say crouching. Just doing the slap squad right there. Yeah, pretty solid.
Yeah, Finest thinking, okay, let's not overthink the anti-eco round. We know we've struggled with them in the past. Let's hit them hard. Let's hit them with pace. Straight acceleration on the monster pop. And luckily enough, Imperial don't even have the stack on B.
Actually love the pressure Team Finest are putting on them right now. Really not allowing Imperial to breathe. Obviously, this is an eco. Obviously, this is USPs from Imperial. But the confidence to just... Oh my god. Anarkez, you're just too clever. Through the walls as well. Finds the last shot. Nade thrown at his feet, but he doesn't care. He just doesn't care, this man.
He's having a great tournament, and we know that Anarkez is one of the star players, one of the most crucial entities in Tier 2 when it comes to his AWPing style. But just knowing, coming into this best of 3 Pavlos, he had been on top form. 77 rounds played, positive 33 KD, a 1.46 rating in that best of 1, in that best of 3, and he's just continuing it.
Unstoppable force this guy is. You can see they're leaving some utility behind. It looks like they may want to fall back on that position later on. And you can see Imperial this time around, they're going aggressive.
Taking it as the bonus round, trying to get that Mach 10 to fly through. FNX in a position where he's forced out into the open. A lot of players around party right now.
Ooh, Fur ends up falling into Pleasant, though. That's a little bit tricky. FNX now holding the position he was earlier, is able to scramble it up. Quickly traded. Fallen, though, has got his teammates back, so it's still anyone's game. It just comes down to whether Fallen can sustain this position or whether he drops. Will it be a trade? Will he just fall? It will be the latter. Shox takes full command of that space.
That's a triple setup towards Topicon and Bathrooms, set by Imperial to answer back with the trading game, and instead it just keeps going 1-for-1. Anarkez and Shox, vertical crossfire on that peak forward. Great crosshair placement coming through from Shox to deal with Fallen, and now slow it down. You've got a minute odd on the clock, you've got util to play with, you want to force a mistake, and even with the EG.PA holding back, this is giving more time for Kriaz with the bomb to commit to long.
And this slow tempo from Team Finest will increase the pressure onto Imperial. The last sequence of rounds for Anarkez have just been something different. And I'm telling you, he could be built different. Vinny's got the right idea for the wraparound towards this A site, but what can you really do if you're Vinny here? Up against the 3, the Brazilian here, looking to shape up, but oh, it might be coming out of the right angle. Oh, could have been a lineup. There is a world where their stars connected and aligned, but no. Oh, you love to hear that.
And let's be real, this isn't even that competitive. When we think about what's happened on Overpass, it just reflects back to Dust 2. Finest down 3-13, managed 12 rounds. It tells me they were nervous, uncomfortable at the start of that opening best of 1, but came back, and they've showed comfortability beyond belief. We've seen one CT round here from Imperial on their map pick.
This is not something we expected for Imperial at all. They haven't found their comfort, neither economically, neither pace-wise. Team Finest have been in command all across the board. But it seems they've got a good idea, at least from the placement. Team Finest are taking on now towards this right-hand side of the map. Fur in the corner, Shox mistiming the crossman, but still found from Team Finest.
Ooh, the monster resmoke does not land. That is not done at all. And that just allows the walk forward now.
They're actually squared things up a bit. Kriaz and Anarkez looking to trade. This is actually a little bit more explosive for Imperial, as it is with these pistols. FNX once more. And Fallen has found himself some ground to work with. If he wraps around correctly, could be some riflery for him.
And no surprise at all that the Eco is one of the most successful rounds here from Imperial.
Who would have thought?
The factor is, though, is it any more? You found 3 kills, you've done the economical damage. This is still a winnable round.
The leader, the captain. If there's anyone to do it, it's Fallen.
Oh, the rat play's good, though. They've got so much time.
Team Finest really not just going for the bomb there. They have no information where Fallen is. They're not taking risk at all.
Ooh, no, they're not going to meet one another. It depends whether Shox actually drops down from this heaven position. At least they've got some utility to use between them. And Shox is just waiting. Now the footsteps been heard.
Oh, they know. At least Fallen knows at least where one of them is. That could be ahead or missed opportunity. And he misses a couple of shots there. Could have been their chance, but it isn't. Team Finest on map point on their opponent's map pick.
Mate, they're getting loud. Very loud over at that Finest side. And they know how much every single round means right now. 15-7. Haven't even allowed Imperial to get up to double digits just yet. And we've just seen the Pleasant and Anarkez show. Pleasant, second highest rated player of the event. Pleasant at number 5. Both of those guys have been so consistent so far.
Imperial really need to bring out something magic to close out 8 rounds in a row, especially in the manner we've seen them play so far on the CT side.
Oh, here we go again.
little bit more passive from Imperial this time around, though, and doesn't seem they'll be peeking this corner anytime soon, but could give Anarkez further space to move even more forward.
Oh, hang on, mate. He's still holding, but no!
That's an all-important kill for Bolts, though. That puts Imperial on top, and that puts Anarkez to his grave.
Yeah, opening man advantage coming through from Imperial. It's been a lack of these so far, but the trade's there from Kriaz, and the space gets found.
That's what Team Finest need to get them back into it, but FNX somehow opens things up towards the other end of the map. Kriaz wanted more, bringing that AWP into his hands, and that's the opportunity he needed. 2 kills for them, leveling the playing field, and Team Finest now, their opportunity to figure out how they want to unravel this.
They can slow it down. Slow it right down here from Finest. You've got the util, you've got the 3v3, and you've got the time to work with. Imperial trying to see if they can search for information. First aggressing forward, but he might just miss the timing of them getting into the bathrooms.
Oh, it's down to the wire, isn't it? We're playing with fine margins here for all the way around. Enters Parlor's playground. Oh, there you go. Okay. The bomb is there. They know what's happening. The rest of the rotations for Imperial are coming towards that A site, and that's the kill. FNX finds one onto the other end, and all of a sudden, Kriaz finds himself all by himself. Oh dear. Well, with 18 seconds, he needs to at least find Fur and relieve the pressure from the back end, but Fallen looks to relinquish that by taking him down. Looks like Imperial will hold on for just a bit more.
Now, you spoke about the thinnest of margins, and I don't think you can get any thinner than that. Just as you round the corner towards Party, you see a pixel, and out of all the players, it's the one with the bomb. It gives you the information. It's not a lurk. It is a full commitment. He's able to drop that bomb, establish the crossfire on the side directly, and now from Imperial, you've just got to take it one round at a time.
One round at a time. Put your head down, lads. Let's see how far you can take this. How long you can go. What a way to start off the series if Team Finest win this. What a story would it be if they knock down Imperial here before playoffs even begins. Damage onto Fur. Does opt to fall back from it, but he's going to have to stick around to assist Fallen here.
Yeah, they've got to set the crossfire right here in the bathrooms if they want to continue to hold the AWP so aggressive. They're actually going to change it up, so FNX is going to go further aggressive and Fur's going to go back towards the site knowing that he's on low HP. Now, in this notion, they've still left the Lurker Kriaz out towards the B site, but the main control is being taken by the T's towards long.
Slow and steady wins the race. Imperial really not taking any chances here. They are acting blind, though. Suffocated from info. Team Finest haven't shown all that much. One smoke. Just a fake, just an obfuscation.
We haven't seen a lot of fakes in the mid-round, and Twist gets caught off. What an info play that is from Fallen. He sees nothing.
He realizes it's just one player, which means the rest of his team can hold comfortable towards this B site. Team Finest looking to move in. But they know they don't have too much margin for error. Vinny onto the back end. Kriaz looking to trade it. Bolt being the gatekeeper he has to be. Team Finest with half the amount of players alive for him. In contrast to Imperial, that is Kriaz looking to hold on. But we're only working with 10 seconds here. That's the bomb laid out right in front of him. So low there. That's the headshot. And that could be the plant as well.
Oh my goodness, he's going to get the bomb down and first so low HP.
Smoke concealing his position. If he drops, he could be a dead man. Kriaz could be ending this map right here, right now. Thur's dropped. Does Kriaz expect it? He does, but he misses the shot! Imperial are still in this!
Oh my goodness, one bullet. That's all the connection that Kriaz needed, but it doesn't quite happen. They get the bomb down to allow the extra money, but another clutch comes forward, and Imperial, they're hanging on.
They are indeed, Swag. They are indeed. Stern faces, though. They know they've got a long way to go still.
Yeah, it's a tough challenge. It always is, especially when the rounds are as close as they are. And Finest just know, keep the mental. Keep the mental. Don't tilt. Don't overcomplicate anything because they're playing well. They're the better team in this matchup. They've come close. They've had a couple of rounds in which didn't quite go their way. But as an overall picture, they know this is theirs for the taking.
How far can they take it? This discussion is going to continue until they actually close up this gap, Dwayne. We're talking about 6 consecutive rounds for Imperial. Cannot be easy.
Vinny's going very aggressive in this. There's a player behind the short pipe, but they haven't designed the duel just yet.
These risks have to be flawless by them. Really tinkling with the lines of between life and death. Oh, just walks in front of him, but it's Kriaz with a better weapon, and it's Kriaz with the kill.
And that from Marsh trying to get the jump, but Kriaz really leveling back from what we saw from him in the last round, finding the initial response, allowing the opening man advantage to continue to flow forward, and now start taking some of the bathrooms of banana control.
And now, Team Finest have weakened the defenses of Imperial, but it's up to them to keep up this pressure still. Very slow, reminiscent of the previous round. They attempted the fake, but maybe it's a full commit this time around.
Even consider what util is being held over towards this B site. Bolts has got nothing, and FNX has only got an HE. There is no way they can slow it down. If there's an XE, if there's a commitment, they're going to go.
Kriaz has been given the AWP. Anarchist is going in. He wants this action. He wants to be the one in command. Bolt's completely flashed out. Zabat still gets one before he falls. FNX with all to do here, unable to do the magic work. Team Finest, they're on the verge of closing this out here. A near impossible feat for Fallen and Fair.
Get the bomb down, play the timeout. There's still util. There's even a player to the right-hand side they don't know about.
What? A molly kill for Fallen? That was a bomb planter. And now it has to be attempted once again. Twist with a sideline play. Doesn't want to peek another time. If there's anyone to do it, it's Burr, but when he's blind, there's nothing. Tough considering Vertigo might not be the best map for them. Starting things off on the CT side, it is Imperial, while Team Finest on the attacking. Now moving in towards ramp, the integral part of this map. We'll be seeing a lot of this area as they do move in aggressively. First spots them out as he backs away. He's giving the call to the teammates.
Oh, this is quick. Already getting that smoke down. Flash over the top. Vinny trying to hold, but gets overwhelmed. The pace is continuing.
Oh, they ain't stopping here, Dweg. They want it more. Twiston was left behind to fend for the rotations, and he's done so perfectly, quickly bouncing back. Team Finest looking to carry on the momentum of the previous one. Shocks with a double. What a waste to start things off on their own map pick.
One word, confidence. That has got to be said in a round like that. It's quick, it's pacey, it's out of the gate. It is looking to get right up there. And you could just see with that util standpoint, they wanted to send it. You've got Twist with the flash and smoke going up high, Pleasant running into the gate, and after they start gaining the site control and they put themselves in a good state, it's Shocks to show up, getting close towards that sniper's nest, ripping through with the headshots.
Yeah, they're really going in there like Speedy Gonzalez, not really with care in the world, and Bolt just leaving the Kevlar here. Very boring outcome, but what can you do from Team Finest? This is exciting. This is them carrying on that forwards momentum that they were able to create on the T side. Oh, give me that fist pump. Okay, he got it. But they are, right? They are moving forwards, and that T side over on Overpass was something different.
I really want to see a good map coming out from Bolts as well. He's the highest rated player for the Imperial side in the last 3 months on Vertigo. And of course, we know that in the event so far, he's been one of the key figures. He's been one of the leading players when it comes to the success that's been found. And just to think that we had a best of 3 a little bit earlier on, a close 2-1 loss to Astralis. Could it be a 2-0 now loss to Finest?
Could it be? They lost the best of 1 match against them earlier on. Oh, dear me. The Team Finest now are on top. Who would have thought? Who would have thought?
Even the slow walk out towards mid. There's going to be no contact play at all. No mid player established at all. Got a couple of CTs fighting towards that top of ramp. And now with Finest with the walk forward, they can just go in for the B split.
Yeah, they could indeed. And it looks like that is what they're fancying. Kriaz is left behind here and is actually taking care of. Bolts with a flash will assist FNX to move into this. But Twist wants to go in. He doesn't care who's holding it. He just wants to shoot some heads down, and that he does.
Twist finding some really impactful kills. Fallen trying his best to just pick off anyone towards the right-hand side, towards that quad position. Not going to happen at all. Get the jump around.
Oh, Jumperino shoots Reno, but it's quickly traded back from Team Finest. A little bit damaging on that end, but they get the job done. And with Fair's low HP, the situation doesn't look any more fruitful.
No, not at all. Have to hold on to what you can, bring it into the next round and look to be another eco. Finest, one thing that they can be happy about is obviously coming into this best of 3, being very successful in pistol rounds, something that has been a good nature for them. Maybe when you look at how things started out on the last map, you go, okay, that wasn't quite the sentiment, but right here, they find the pistol, they find the second round conversion too. Imperial, what can they find in the next round? Because keep in mind, Pavlos, got a FAMAS, we might have a couple of upgraded pistols. Normally, we'd say 3 rounds.
Oh, but it's Imperial.
It is Imperial and it's Finest.
Great combo to see pistol round upsets, isn't it?
I've got a pretty good feeling that this is going to be a deadly round. Don't want to say it's going to get won by Imperial. That's probably a stretch too far. But keep an open mind to this round actually taking some casualties.
Yeah, this is completely switching up the storylines we had coming into today. Team Finest showing us really how it's done. Fallen, okay. Spotted out there, instantly punished. They want to go in for more. They do subside a little bit to make sure they cover off Vinny's position. It's for good reason. He's actually pushed up through the smoke. Maybe to look to find some damage. Wouldn't be too bad here for Vinny, would it? Hello. Hello. Okay, that's one. Not too bad. Oh, Plaston, he's running out of bullets. That's uncomfortable. Oh, hello. Yeah, all right. Not too bad. But, I mean, what more can you expect from them?
You'll take it. 2 kills in the USP.
Not too bad.
Sometimes it doesn't matter how the job gets done. If it gets done, it gets done. And for Imperial, they can look at that round and say, okay, we did some damage. We're keeping the economy light. We're trying to make sure that that money comes down low. Finest are probably looking at that one saying, okay, we probably need to make sure our comms are a little bit better on point and those crossfires are being set, because come the rifle rounds, that contention towards the top of the ramp is going to be immense.
And now the guns come in for Imperial. No AWP though.
Oh, it's fast.
It's very fast. Bolt's able to find the first one, although that means with a molly, Team Finest will have to subside with their push for now.
We've seen Finest be fiery on their T side, love the acceleration forward, and they've still got the MAC-10 in play for Plesson. Anika's investing down into the big green, waiting for a jump spot over the top of the sandbags. A jumping MAC-10 has just put Vinny down at 20 points of health.
That is one way to do it.
Couldn't give you an answer for why.
No. RNG at this point, isn't it?
Even the boost-up's not seeing anything. They need to try and peek together to deal with Fallen. So far from Imperial, after the opening man advantage got gained by Bolts, they've slowed it down and haven't given away a lot of info.
They have not. Anakas is just waiting for that smoke to dissipate, maybe to take his chance here, but that flash is to keep them busy. You can see slow wraparound now towards this B side, and I mean, Imperial haven't relinquished pressure off of ramp. It's not as if they're in the dark here. They know what's going on. And they adequately place defenders towards B as well.
This could be a slight misdirection, though. FNX peeks up towards the top of the B stairs, doesn't see anything. Kriaz just trying to stealth the player towards mid, and at least deals with one of Fallen, but it's all a distraction. The rest of the players are walking up ramp.
And he's gotten away, right? The chase came right after him, but he was speedy enough to get out of harm's way. And there might be another switcheroo, but no, this is a commitment for them, but it could be a little bit mistimed. Imperial have gotten here in time. Bolts does get shut down, but it's quickly traded back. Team Finest now on the back foot. Imperial have set up a wall, a blockade, and with a bomb now set back, this is looking like a round where they'll fancy a save.
Yeah, they're in a situation there where they're running the clock and nothing's really being presented. Imperial do a very good job of not over-peaking. You can see the headshot angle being held back behind the elevators, behind the default boxes. If you're not over-swinging, you're really going to make it tough for those offensive players on the run-up towards ramp to open the site, to be able to get space and control of the bomb plant. And it doesn't happen at all. Anakes realizes, let's hold on to the weapons. We've got money. We could buy next round.
Fairly sensible decision to make.
I did G2 smokes as well, that's why. I did this.
And just for insight, I remember just when they finished their previous map, the excitement Team Finest had in their faces. They're smiling, elated. Emotions that can really carry you onwards to close a series out like this, but emotions that can also take over and lose out on the logical plays that you should be making. Plesson already with a first pick. They should be happy with this one, but that molly will definitely stop this push.
Yeah, Imperial starting to bring some more information players over towards this B site. You've got 2 in the third mid player to be the rotate over. Might even have another boost up.
Yeah, Team Finest are fancying little pot shots like that. Throwing in nades here and there, finding Orphangles to work with. Anakin still waiting for the left swing. Imperial's patiently waiting, but as I do say that, FNX just fancies a drop shot.
That's going to be the 3rd time he's done that too.
Yeah.
So I think for Finest, Twister's going to start getting a recollection. Someone's got to play anti-flash, or they've got a different protocol, because from Imperial, that's been highly successful. That flash forward and the boost up on danger.
Now Team Finest. Ooh, okay, Pleston again. That's a double kill for him. He's been winning out a lot of these trades. Anakes, finally, he's been patient on that corner for what has been an entire minute, and it's finally paid off. Imperial in trouble now. Damage to be found. Pulse with the crossfire here with Fallen. The flash from Fallen, immaculate. And now they square things up. Equilibrium Shocks trying to bring it back, and it's all down to their captain of Imperial to hold it back for his team.
Oh, they're going to bring the bomb over. They know the A site's completely opened up, but Fallen's got a read and an information play that he should start moving.
El Capitan. What can you do? Footsteps heard. Knowing of the wraparound, he knows Shocks is going to enter his sight, but he's also wary of the positioning behind him, or is he? Oh, that's an elbow! It got rough, but Team Finest prevail. They're going to be happy about that one.
A very good call there coming through from Finest, and sometimes you just need that round where not a lot happens. We're looking at a Finest side that lose the pick, over to the top of the B stairs from FNX's point of view. They slow it down. Pleston's able to find a kill out towards ramp. Anarchist is holding with the NWP, like you mentioned, gets that wallbang shot. And then within the space of, what, 10 seconds? We're seeing kill after kill after kill. Success being found. And knowing that Pleston's just walked up on A, bring that bomb back over.
Really pushing and crossing that tempo over and over again, knowing when to just move on forwards and relinquish it when necessary. Team Finest doing a fine job with that, going true with their names. Pleston, again, these entries from him haven't lacklustered at all so far this game, and considering it's official for Imperial, you can understand the pressure they're on to make these kind of plays, but yeah, it's not really going to be very fruitful.
Just putting more pressure up towards that ramp position. Slight body block so the molly doesn't go out to that alley entrance, so Vinny can at least hold for a bit longer.
Big criticism over from the desk as well coming into this matchup was Imperial really needed to rely on Fer being more consistent. That's where most of the consistency has actually come out from Imperial the past few months, but we're not really seeing that today, and that could be where the firepower department is kind of lacking for them.
Yeah, Finest using their util to perfection on the site, and I've even seen in rounds where they've got 5v2s, 5v3s, they're not overlooking the slight details. Still using all that utility, yeah, it might be a little bit more expensive, it might not be all that necessary, but in case there is a stack involved, they're playing it by the book, and that gives me a lot of confidence in Twist.
Yeah, the playbook has definitely depth here. It's definitely good to see a team coming into this one as a heavy underdog, right? Just think of the story behind it. All right. Yeah, we're talking about Fallen Legends here from multiple teams joining in this tournament in particular. Team Finest are legends of their own rights on the Tier 2 scene. Have just rushed their way into this, really spamming games one after the other, trying to refine those rough edges, and performances like these indicate that there is more to come for these guys.
And it almost gives me the vibe of, when are we going to see more Tier 2 teams on LAN? Because knowing that the fact that Finest had to come through the Pinnacle Cup for the online stage of this event, they played the third Pinnacle, they went out in main Swiss, they didn't even make the playoffs, let alone come to the Cup 4. They start in the group stage, go all the way through the main Swiss, all the way through the playoffs, beating teams that were at the major, beating teams that were stronger than them, and now they're one map away from making the playoffs here and going even further.
The past couple of majors and RMRs have proven that this gap between Tier 1 and Tier 2 is very fine. Very small. Maybe non-existent, maybe overlapping. That is a discussion for another time as Kriaz looks to entry now towards the B side. Not really greeted by any utility or anything. FNX, patient on the trigger, will have to fend off his back line. Won't be able to do so, still traded, but Team Finest with space control.
And they've got the B site open completely, so they can just get the bomb down. Anarchist is walking up, but Fallen's missed the NWP shot!
What is going on? Anarchist just waltzes into ramp as if he had reinforcements, as if it was just casual Tuesday walking in the park. And Fallen just got surprised there, as we did as well.
Oh, no way. Now he loses the duel. Somehow Anarchist is up towards the top of the sandbags at ramp. It looked like that bomb was committing B. For sure it was.
What is this shenanigans for them? And now they've wrapped away around towards this A site. They've gotten the bomb down safely. The splash damage will come in about a little bit late. Oh, Bolts with all to do. They need to find the numbers advantage here because you could already see Shocks now routing towards them, trying to help out. The timing is missed. Anarchist finally drops the troublemaker Fer with a double. Wait a second here. Very doable. Smoke. Bomb touch. Shocks. Has to spray, gives away his position, and that is where Bolt comes in. Imperial needed that round. They execute it to perfection.
That was looking very confident there in that retake to come through from Imperial. And as an overall pitcher, you just think to yourself, geez, what happened there? How are you in a situation like that? Because realistically, yeah, okay, it gets a little bit funky, right? Anarchez deals with Fallen. That's a 3v2 post plant, and Imperial made it look easy on the retake. Fair play to him.
Yeah, fair play. I'm just marveled still by how Anarchez just felt I don't know what he felt. What do you feel in that instant? Just deciding to just go on ramp like that.
Yeah, just expected an over-rotation, knowing that they're taking the B site. AWP duel, looking for that crane peak. Doesn't quite happen. Back and forth exchange with a lot of the utility. Just spamming for both teams.
Maybe this is where overcomplication comes in for Team Finest. Maybe this is where they kind of forget. Just play it simple. The mentality they've had to take it home so far. Fallen with an AWP shot to start things off for Imperial. As good a start as they've had at all this half so far.
Yeah, Fur even just jiggle peeking further. Anarchez waiting for that perfect opportunity to strike. And there we go. Pleasant again always feels like the difference maker in the early portions of these rounds.
He's really stepped up on Vertigo. He's really feeling it. And he's able to stabilize, right? Imperial had the advantage, and that's really important. Get yourself back on square footing.
Hey, even Shox can just pull some more distraction, keep some more info plays towards that mid control, back out towards a ladder. Now, they've got a couple of mollies. It's whether they use it out to the sandbags.
You said it. Molly, will it be used? Pleasant, yeah, it seems to be lining it up right now, getting into the right position. Fair, he's got timing here. Is it looked, though? Doesn't seem like Kriaz is looking towards it. No one is looking towards it. Oh, this could be deadly. Oh, no, they're not even using it. Oh, no, they don't even give it the light of day to check it early. And that it means that Fur gets 2 and puts Team Finest on a really tough spot.
Yeah, even Fallen's in a great position to deny this bomb from going down. Just needs the distraction.
Oh, the Fallen keeps it going. As you said, a brilliant position. Bolt follows it up. Imperial keeping things close.
Miscoms, I think you have to say there from Finest. You've got the idea that Anarchez is holding the sandbags, but yet they're committing while the Molly lineup is there for Pleasant. They just don't use it in time. If that Molly went out straight away, maybe you get a 1-for-1. Maybe you're able to force the fight out with only a single death. The fact that he's able to find 2 from Fur in that spot is magical.
And devastating for Team Finest, right? I mean, there was a little bit of an overcompensation towards the A side. I remember when they were, like a couple of rounds ago, right? When they had full B control and they just used Anarchez's control over Fallen on that ramp area to move towards that A site. I mean, that overcomplication could have costed them this round, and this round in particular is a ramification of the previous 2 mistakes. Now they're down to pistols, and this is Imperial that could inch a little bit closer as well.
Pleasant's waiting to punish, see the gun barrel, but not quite get the shot onto Fur, who's still quite aggressive with this M4.
He really is. Not scathed at all by Team Finest punishments coming in. Doesn't care. He does his own thing. He doesn't ask for permission. Good utility usage there for Imperial to kind of flash them away, but still it's the damage coming in from the superior weaponry to kind of take over.
And realistically, from Imperial, knowing the lack of T-side that we've seen from them on Vertigo in recent history, they'll be looking at 9+ rounds. 9+ rounds on the first half gives them some comfortability, gives them working room to try and bring this into a third map. And already looking at Finest up to 5, Imperial need to get a streak going, and a very strong one at that. The anti-eco is going fairly effectively. They lose 1, but in the grand scale of things, that is a very good round from them.
That is a very, very strong round for Imperial. You're right. And now it's time for a new frontier for Team Finest. If they don't stop it now, this could be some momentum built up for Imperial. And knowing how this Brazilian squad acts, as soon as you give them that ball, they're not going to give it away that easily.
Yeah, Bogdan up on screen, the newest coach that's come through from Finest, officially only signed a week ago with these guys. He's been helping them out in a couple of events, played with them, or at least coached with them in the Pinnacle Cup 4 event that got them this spot. And just knowing that he's had that experience coaching Aves, Illumina, Honoris, all in the Polish scene, he's trying to bring some of that experience here to the EU lineup.
That's what you love to see. Bringing multiple regions into play here. Yeah, just a series of kills. Overwhelming power. Okay, let's see how this one works out. Anarchez back on his AWP duties. He's going to love that.
Yeah, he is. try and get as much out of it. Now, a little bit more difficult for him to be aggressive on the T side, like we saw in the last map here on Vertigo. Bolt, look at this, playing in behind the incendiary.
Multiple times Imperial have chosen players to play aggressive, but Shox reads it. He's low, but gets the job done.
Jeez, you couldn't have imagined that. That was a really good reposition from Bolt, but gets caught out.
Now, Team Finest can correct some of their mistakes. They are meticulously and slowly pushing onwards here from this position. Smoke to give it away, give them positioning to just stand up on top of those sandbags, but look how close they are. Fallen is looking to wrap around as well. Fur has read the positioning of his opposition. Fallen from the other end, they're pincering them in. The crossfire setup is just too grand, and Team Finest are wondering how do we bounce back from this. They've got no response.
Imperial trying to take back this top ramp control, and Finest, even though they were here for numbers, they just couldn't establish the crossfire to deal with it. Anarchis is waiting for another reface.
Lack of space. Imperial really challenging them. Anarchis, though, as you did say, was on charge to get this, but a little bit too greedy and gets shut down himself. Shock's not really playing with Krias here. Maybe to cover his left side hand angle. But cleverly enough, Imperial do back away from it, don't really want to go for the challenge, which you can understand. They don't need to.
And perhaps Finest giving too much respect in some of these rounds, slowing it down to a T, allowing Imperial to charge back into it, and Fallen playing passively towards that headshot orange angle, just waiting for the cross out.
Fallen, as simple shot as any for him. And poor old Shox in an all too tough position. Equalization from Imperial. They've actually closed the gap completely.
Yeah, just saw in that round, even though they lose the pick from Bolts, which realistically speaking should have been his onto Shox, and just that force forward, that punishment. The smoke goes down, Fur deals with the first, and then the distraction gets pulled. You could even see with that shot coming through from Fallen, the player in which he drops isn't even looking at him, looking the other way. That's how much of a distraction Fur really brought in that round.
Team Finest are now going to be on a deficit here. Imperial are starting to run away with it, and it's getting a little bit tough. They found difficulty in entering this ramp area. Their coordination looks a little bit rough around the edges. I wouldn't be surprised if they brought out a timeout sooner rather than later at this point.
Yeah, keep in mind, it was a scrappy start to the last map, and Bolt making that look easy with the spray transfer. Ends up with 3. Give himself a triple towards that mid control, get the bomb control too, play it passive, and just establish dominance out to the mid control, and perhaps not only take the lead, but push it further.
Earlier on, Dweg, you kind of had the idea that Team Finest would be able to take the momentum, close this out. This should be their map and get a 2-0. Has that changed at all?
No, not at all. Like, again, this is still the T side. We know that for Imperial, they're working with a 32.9 round win percentage T side in the last 3 months. So again, you try and give them double digits in the first half, maybe things get awkward. But for right now, Finest are keeping it competitive.
Ooh. If they're able to find shots like that, why not? Just playing around space here. Krias with an M4 found. Plus M4s, M4 put to use. Switches the M4 from a red one to a blue one. Choose your favorite color.
Haven't really seen Finest on ecos that often, if we're going to be frank. And definitely that first map, they had money just building almost every round. How much more can get gained?
He's going to give it a go, isn't he? Does look like it. Oh, that's one. Okay, this is dangerous and expensive. Bomb right by the side of that smoke. Gonna get pre-fired, but he's able to execute it. All Fallen close by, pistol in hand. Oh, Krias actually has a chance. I can't believe I'm saying this, but Bolt does find the right angle. Fallen took a dink to the head. Oh, that could have been it.
That's a very good eco. Remember, they're not bringing much to the table. They got 3 kills and a bomb plant. They're disrupting the economy from being in a grand gesture right there from the Imperial side. And for Krias, yeah, you might look at it and go, ah, man, almost had it, got the dink off. But it's what was achieved in a round with such limitations. And for Imperial, yeah, you're starting to get rounds in a row. You're starting to build up a lead. Overall, for Finest, I'm still thoroughly convinced that they've got what it takes.
Still time to prove us that. Still time to convince us. I know, Dweg, you're convinced. You don't need any of that.
I reckon Finest are convinced. I mean, just looking at the way that they were acting on camera, we saw in the last map, the way that we've seen their reaction so far, it looks really positive, and that's what it's got to be. You come in here for an opportunity to try and play in front of a crowd with a core Swedish lineup. You couldn't have written a better story if Finest are able to do it. No.
And back again on the weaponry, they do like to hold. We're looking at a change of pace perhaps from them. That's what we'd like to see, more determinism. Let's see if they find these crossfires correctly, onto this wrap around end towards ramp. Fur's actually going for something himself. There's a gap through the smoke. Assisted by Nate to the side. He could seize that opportunity to push out perhaps. Waiting for Team Finest to take that swing, but no, the smoke dissipates, and that's Anarchist down and out.
Plessen's desperate for the trade, get himself in a position in which he can deal with Fur, but he doesn't want to overpeak, but they get a kill elsewhere.
And just like that, Team Finest stabilized, but is that good enough? Because Fallen's got a good idea of where someone's going to come from, but it's the Y-axis to do it from Twist, gets himself to a high elevation, and takes down the opposing Orpa. Shocks as well, looking to join in on that fray, and all of a sudden, Team Finest with double the amount of players alive than Imperial.
Mate, that was cracked. Look at that shot coming through from Twist and the follow-up in for Shocks. Now we're in a position where Fur can try and get onto that backstab, but you're working in a 2v4. This is nearly impossible.
This is really tough. And Fur and Vinny, not the best of games for them either. Not the best of series, I'd say.
And let's just reflect on that round as well, Pavlos. You're in a situation in which Fur tries something aggressive, tries something a little bit cheeky, wins out the opening advantage. And Plessen's in a spot too where he doesn't want to peek wide, doesn't want to get the trade, and then Kriaz in mid gets them the opportunity. Twist on the boost up gets one. Shocks gets one too, and it just shows me, even if there's a weakness somewhere, there's a positive somewhere else.
They're able to create opportunities where they don't exist. They create them themselves, right? It's forcing Imperial's hand. It's not like Imperial are making too many missteps.
6-all, trying to keep it close, trying to see if they can get up on top. Just realize what is at stake here. And for Imperial, they could be very happy with what they achieved in the early portion of that round. That's a great pick, because not only is it opening man advantage, it's the big man. It's Anika's out of the round.
You're talking about what is at play here, and quite frankly, it's playoffs. And for the first international LAN for Team Finest and this roster, this is big. In front of a home crowd, goodness me, what would I do to play against, play in front of a home crowd like this, right? When you're playing better than you've ever played before.
Imperial trying to keep the hurt up towards this ramp control. And you do have to give them credit. They've always kept a contention over here towards ramp. It's been a lot of spams, a lot of decent utility. Try and really keep the pressure on for as long as possible and have the intent of fighting towards the bottom of ramp with the ore.
Yeah, still an exchange of utility still up front, as you can expect from this ramp position, but Team Finest starting to move in, and Fallen has been forced out a little bit from that corner. Has reinforcements. Fur is actually with the first one. There's no retaliation from Team Finest. They're actually struggling to find a crossfire. Vinny steps up to their plate. Anarchist struggling, really struggling. Finally finds something out of that, but Imperial realize we've got our cake. Let's leave before Team Finest get a bite.
Look at Kriaz though. He's walking up B, and that's the B anchor dealt with. That's the B site open.
The rotation is fully open now, but Bolts wants to relinquish it quickly, wants to take charge of it, but that is a misstep because Kriaz is never going to miss that opportunity.
Oh, Rasmus, Kriaz, mate, what are you doing there? Double entry coming down to the bomb side, and I think that's sold the round. Surely they've got to back off.
Yeah, surely they have, right? Economically, they're not too sound. They have to get those rifles to the next position, to the next round, and try and live to fight another day, because Team Finest, they've done this again, Dweg. Lose out on one end, we'll win on the other.
And notice what Harry said on the desk as well. The defense, the B anchor of FNX out towards that B site of Vertigo on City side, having some struggles. Right there, you've got the ramp players doing everything. You've got the ramp players giving you a positive from Imperial and then overwhelming. Kriaz captures the timing, makes it a multi-frag, and he's still on 100 HP, mate!
It's incredible. This guy is not challenged. I wanted to see more Kriaz today, to be fair, I really did. And he's really giving it his all. Such a young kid with prospects. Early days in his career, man. So much he can achieve.
And what's incredible too for Kriaz is even though he's a Swede, he's basically only played on European teams. We've seen him dip into CIS, playing with the Simon and K23 boys, playing on a lot of European and English-speaking lineups, and now trying to see if they can bring Finest to the top, achieving top 30 on HLTV for the first time in history last week.
It's quite an achievement for so many Tier 2 teams. So many teams fight for those top spots, and Team Finest have gotten themselves there, and they want to go even further. Fallen challenged here. Shock's not quite taking that position. Elegantly moving away. And smartly not really wanting to challenge Fallen. He's not going to miss those shots. Fur, again, very aggressive. Smoke further deep, but Anakez this time around not going to fall for it.
Anytime there's a pick granted for Anakez, you've got to capitalize, because if you don't, you're going to get fooled.
Lesson wants to continue this. Oh, and he will be able to find one. Vinny trading it back with the MP9. We're still talking about 3 players alive on the Imperial side, so not all is lost for them yet. And Vinny does collect the AWP duty. He wants to be the scoped guy in the mix.
Hang about though. You've got a mid walk here from Twist. A lot of map control to get gained. Anakez continuing to sell the fake towards A. Does get picked off though.
That's what you want to see from Vinny. Picks up the good big gun of green. And able to continue things onwards here, but the player's red. Bolts kicking himself for not being able to kill off Grease the previous time around is the staple ranker of this B site, and will say, you'll need to fight for it, but Team Finest do. They challenge them. They push them to their limits, but it's Team Finest still to overcome.
Why is Vinny double dipping there? Why is he overfacing? Now FNX is forced into a clutch situation, and the bomb's not even for him.
He could isolate them. If he would have gotten the kill there, it could have been easier, but Kriaz is going to play the safe, waiting for his teammate to get in a greater position, but they're not going to budge, they're not going to move. FNX has to unsolve this himself. Team Finest aren't giving him an inch to work with, just trying to wrap around it, looking for his rhythm. But Twist is there to put a bullet from one ear out the other, and just like that, they seize control.
And they make it look easy, and they punish right there for Vinny. You're on the run out towards mid, you're on low HP, you can't overface, you can't double dip, because you're going to get fooled. And in that situation, they're just waiting for it. They're waiting for that recommitment. And just the B site, you have to say it's a weakness. That is what Finest have been exploiting the most in this first half, is those B attacks.
Imperial with lesser weaponry. MP9 is going to get those closer distances. And we're kind of seeing them looking to challenge here. I think Team Finest have got a read of what's going on. Last round of the half. Ooh, beautiful double spray down there from Pleston. Gets the shot done as well. Doesn't even need to see him.
Oh, Pleston, mate. He's loving it. Even Bolt's trying to make an info play, and Pleston gets another. He's trying to create what he did on the last map.
There's an MVP for the half. It's got to be Pleston. And the last map. Really stepping up in this series. Really living up to his name. Bolts, I'm afraid your venture is short-lived. 9-6, an end at half-time, which favors the Finest side.
And again, I'm going to go back to what I said before. Imperial needed 9+ rounds in their first half. 32.9 round win percentage on T side. That's 1 win and 6 losses in the last 3 months. We know it's been rough. We know it's not been easy sailings at all. And right now for Finest, they're dictating pace. They're catching mistakes. They're multi-fragging. And knowing that Plesson top-fragged in that last map, he's been consistent here on the second. Anakez has been in for some. But you're also seeing glimpses of the others. Kriaz with some of those entry kills over towards the B side. Shock's in the mix with a couple of the trades. Finest, they're looking like the better team again.
Yeah, I mean, there was a moment in this game that I felt that, all right, Imperial starting to gain ground again. They're starting to look a little bit comfortable. Can we see that sort of unravel now on the T side?
It's going to be tough. They need a streak. They got 5 in a row at one point. They need to do it again. And they're actually going to bring a lot of acceleration over towards B early rounds.
Lined up with a couple of flashes. Shox has to respect it. Throws out an HE grenade and does put FNX down to half HP. Vinny also takes the chunk, but it's a double split. It's a split B site. Take Shox and Pleston. Oh, able to find 2 heads just like that. Hiding within the smoke still. Oh, he's doing so much. He's delaying so much. And the rest of the cavalry has just arrived. The reinforcements are here. But Imperial still finding damage. Actually now turning things around. Hold on a second. They're on top HP-wise.
And they've got to keep fighting, though. They've got to try and get that bomb control back. And Bolts has got to be the difference maker here.
Okay. They need to catch the bomb. You're right. And Team Finest know it. Oh, Pleasant with a swing. He's done so much already. Triple for him. Anarchist falls. Pleasant needs to do it here. Vinny 11 HP though. Could be a simple pickup.
Just get the bomb down. Have the security. Get the extra money.
Vinny laying back. Pleasant not playing any games. Knows exactly where he's coming from. Knows his opponent is low. One bullet was required. One bullet was hit. And that is Team Finest with yet another pistol win.
And Pleasant, I honestly, I've never seen a guy in this event multi-frag as much as he does in pistol rounds. We saw it in the EG series. We've seen it here against Imperial. And what's crazy too is that Pleasant used to play with Golden on Fnatic Academy. He's now gone further than the actual Fnatic team come this event and maybe even make it into the playoffs.
Oh man, what a statement right there. What a statement. Yeah, you're right. Fnatic knocked out by Heroic moments ago. And Team Finest might even go where Fnatic weren't able to go. Imperial could try and stop this. Anarchist actually drops. That's the AWP gone. Shox may want to contest it, but Imperial might be happy with that first trade and trying to relocate their power.
Yeah, going to be difficult to recover that AWP. Imperial up on the force come the second round. And wouldn't normally have expected an AWP to come in this early. And Bolds are starting to think about a slight walk and maneuver into B.
Twist. A little bit of damage taken up there. Grabbing some information though, all crucial information. Imperial still got a lot of time to work with, but not much utility, right? Can't really play it explosively.
Well, they've got Pleasant that's still playing up towards 51, and he's just jiggling towards the top of the ramp. He hasn't seen anything just yet, but he's got to be in a position in which he can gather info and fall back to the site directly.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit tough from that angle, isn't it? Oh, he must be accurate with the kills, and so far he is. He is in charge today, and with a Hyper Beast by his side, why not? Twist try to recover the AWP there. His career is actually to do it, but try to sustain the position. Pleasant falls, and Imperial have an opening.
Very difficult now for Finest. 2v4. Imperial have got complete ramp control, and Kriaz, pressure's going to build on him with the orb. At least Finny drops. That gives him information of the lurk.
Yeah, Team Finest still in this. Kriaz. Oh, it's a little bit awkward. Just multiple movements on multiple axes. Just didn't work out for them, and Shox has to walk away.
Yeah, back and forth rounds now. Hold on to the AK, bring it into the next. And Finest would have thought, okay, was that the right call? We've obviously won the pistol. Pleasant's done us an absolute favor. We've got the big green out, and for Anarchez, what's he faced against? But two wide-swinging players. He doesn't even find one on that one. Ends up dropping, and then while the CTs are trying to recover that AWP, that's where Imperial can really put the sandwich in.
Are you hungry?
I'm hungry for victory.
Love a good sandwich right now, but yeah, you're right. This round does set you Finest back a little bit.
It does. But again, they're going to be double eco status, so they're going to have to force it up. And keep in mind, maybe we touch on the luck factor, okay? Yeah. We've seen a lot of anti-ecos, a lot of scrappy rounds with light weaponry go the way of Imperial. Do Finest pull something out here? They've got at least another upgrade. They'll have some 5.7s. They'll have some Deagles. They'll be limited. There's no doubt about it. But they're looking for some luck. And Twist, he's looking at the camera.
Sneaky snack. Cut the camera. Just grabs a bite of his chocolate bar. I prefer not. Let the guy eat in peace, mate. Let the guy eat in peace. Don't zoom in on his face. That's just rude. That's just rude, cameraman.
Okay. Even up against the buy, it's going to be a tough one. You've got the AWP in the hands of Fallen. You've got rifles all around. And now you start putting some emphasis on what are we going to get out of Shox and what are we going to get out of Pleasant in a round like this. 5 on A?
Ooh. I fancy a little bit of a switch up. But Imperial are a team to scout their entries first.
Okay, so the idea here right now from Finest is let's bring multiple players over towards A in case it's an early ramp take, boost up, and then we can start rotating players back over. We can allow Twist to hold down the mid control, but all in all, it is a stack towards the A side.
Yeah, Imperial do seem to fancy that area, don't they? Slowly they move in. This could be dangerous if Team Finest are able to find some kills, especially with the placement of Shox on their AK. To be fair, I wouldn't mind, but Pleasant was on that gun right now.
It's just whether the boost gets checked. In all honesty, Imperial could do very well with the utility usage to start gaining this ramp control, but if no one checks the boost, that could be the opening man advantage being gained by Finest.
I haven't seen too many boosts from Team Finest this half, have we?
No.
It's kind of the first we've seen it. Therefore, it would be a first for Imperial to check it, and as we did say, Imperial are a team to scout out the rest of the map to see if there's an opening, and I think they will be able to find it.
They've got to read here. Vinny's already taken so much space. Now deals with Twist. This is the round done. Finest have just got to save. There's nothing that they can do. That's a very good lurk-in from Vinny that not only catches the only B player, but realizes that there's time to bring the bomb over too.
And they will. Just Imperial getting the bomb down. Just wait it out. Not quite sure if they have the comfort to actually push over, because they themselves want to save their weaponry. It's important they take them to the next round. So how aggressive they go, that's a different question. Krias doesn't have much to lose. Might see Annika do the same thing. Pleasant defending his teammates with all his might. But yeah, Imperials are slowly but surely starting to call themselves back in.
Here's a couple of AK saves, though. You can keep that in mind. Yeah, it's not the most ideal situation in the world from Finest. They do still hold on to 2 rifles. Now, there is a way in which, and a very risky way in which, they could decide to force buy here. It's uncharacteristic, but you got to wonder what is the potential in a round and situation in which you do have 2 saved in rifles. The safer option will also be the light eco. Try something quite aggressive. Try and get those rifles into some frags. And now you start having the conversation of pressure. Could it be Finest cracking, knowing they've only got a few more rounds to go? Could be the 2-0. Could be them going on the distance. Can pressure get to them?
Pressure can get to anyone. But Imperial, yeah, they're a squad with a lot of knowledge, with a lot of experience. They're not going to relinquish it easily. Fur does open things up as well. So yeah, not too much of a force up from Team Finest. Anakez does find a trade with his AK, but he drops. So they lose both rifles here, Team Finest, so their hopes are quickly dwindled. Yeah,
there's not really much you can expect from this point onwards. Twist is going to try and do his best to fight out from that Guardian position, but overall, they're just getting rolled over, and even the HG dunk is going to come in. Imperial find 9, and now come closer to a tied-up scoreline. And this is where I would possibly say, Pablos, for the first time in this series, it kind of feels like we've got a game on our hands.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? I mean, we kind of saw that Imperial needed a chain of rounds to get themselves back into it, and now they've started to gather that. 9 to 10. This is where the gap could be closed once again. Team Finest, let's see if they do permit that. CT side now on their end. Weaponry all across the board. And Imperial taking it fairly slow. Heavily stacked towards B, though.
Pleasant just spamming through that smoke early on. Imperial starting to show some of that B presence. What they don't know about is Twist and Shox defending the site. Got an Incendiary to try and slow it down. HG placement towards the back of White. Doesn't really find much. Just a chunk down onto Twist.
Wouldn't be surprised if Shox goes for it. Cheeky swing here.
Do an FNX special.
Why not?
That's risky though.
Yeah, Twist has only got 1 flash to maybe assist him if he needs it. But he's just going to hold on to that position for now.
It's a lot of noise. And I wonder if this is now an inkling that Finest have gone, okay, well, they've taken B-Stairs control, but now they're starting to move away. They've left Vinny as that late lurk in case there's any over-aggression, in case Finest want to retake that map control.
Yeah, they're starting to move in towards ramp. Team Finest letting Krias do his thing. Shox as well. Pleasant coming in. Yeah.
That's so much info, mate. You've seen the bomb, and you've seen multiple players, and the lurk of Vinny's been caught.
It's been caught, which means they're lacking the players, and Team Finest have a clear understanding that this is no longer a B here. Let's try and place more players in this A site direction. But Imperial are second-guessing themselves unless Fair is able to do something about it. Anakez is so quick to react to it, though, which Team Finest have only got more stable positioning. Bolt carrying it onwards, quickly traded by Krias. But look on the sideline, Fallen's got an AWP. Krias turns around in time. Fallen gets it done, but surely he's got no time. He has to full commit, he has to full schmeeg it, and now we're down to a Twist and Shox play with Twist finding a better angle. That is Team Finest back on top.
Twist being the difference maker, but Kriaz with the hero play. Think about that for a moment. He's in a position where you see Fallen coming up with the AWP around that alley entrance towards yellow. You think, right, 1-for-1 trade, here we go. And instead, he turns on a swivel, looks back towards Bolt, somehow catches a timing in which Fallen is not peeking and multi-frags in a state where he did never have a chance of doing so.
It really shouldn't have worked out for him there, right? He was pretty much pincered in any other day of the week. That could have gone a completely different direction, 180 degrees, turn it around, but Imperial are in trouble, now looking for a different way in, but Kriaz is actually being a bit sneaky here, and it's Twist actually to find the shot.
You know what? That's also misdirection. They don't know Kriaz is there. So that's the information. Okay, Twist, one of the B players, is somewhat aggressive. They don't know that there's someone underneath. And what that means is Kriaz can aggress forward, Twist can over-rotate.
And that's so much information now gathered for Team Finest. Imperial don't know how much trouble they're in.
Look at the patience too. He's not overextending. Even FNX is watching for this. Kriaz hasn't gone all the way down to the bridge until more of a contact and more of an establishment comes to ramp.
He knows he will have to come in as a thorn later on. Not his time just now. Team Finest fairly far back onto this A-site defense. Now the smokes commence to push.
He's going. He's behind them, and they've stalled for time.
Oh dear, Kriaz, this is where you can start to shine. Spray down, a little bit awkward, but still gets it done. Multiple swings, and he finds a double. When multiple start coming at him, Preston wanting to join in, but the big man, Fallen, has got everything to do. 2 already, but can you make this a clutch ace? Bomb touch, that's the pressure. Knows that there's a swing to come by, looking to get him off the defuse. It looks like he has been able to do so, but he's so far off it now. The commitment has to come underway. Anarchist with a swing by, looking to deny it. Oh dear! Jumperoonie from Anarchist. Good low, goodbye. And that's another for Team Finest.
Oh, a little bit of a sweater towards the end there, but they get the job done. They make sure there's players all around the bomb. Instant trade as soon as that shot comes through. But Kriaz, mate, what a maneuver that is for him to get in from behind. And again, this is in a state where you think, okay, Fallen's going to get the pick. It's a missed shot from Fallen. It means that Bolts goes down. And in that situation, it means that Fallen, your in-game leader, your AWP has to get a 1v5. It's never going to happen.
It's never going to happen, is it? Really not giving them a chance.
There is 3 on B. I wonder what this read is from Finest. They are really anticipating something out to the B site, and they might be right.
Yeah, they're right to do so, right? I mean, look at Imperial as well. Heavily stacked in this direction. The swing comes out from Shock, and Kriaz's flash is accurate. Incendiary to delay it. Imperial can't move forward to trade it out. They just have to stay in the status quo.
And this is another good call coming through from Twist, knowing that Imperial don't have the best money state, having that recollection, it's probably going to be the B site XE. They've still got 3, even 4 players near B right now.
Twist holds on, gets in a little bit closer. Smoke maybe to find an angle to find a head. That's it. The spray down through the wooden box. And all of a sudden, Team Finest look as positively good as they did on Overpass.
Now you wonder, where's the response? What's Vinny going to be able to find out of this one? Even Anarchist down on the mid angle is going to reface again.
Anarchist wants a piece of this. Oh, Dinkerino through the box, but still survives. Holds a pot shot out.
Eventually falls back. It was about time.
Yeah, he needed to. No assistance either, running out of utility, running out of health. Couldn't survive that for too long and wants to make sure that AWP is still in their control. Imperial not 100% out of it though. Seems they want to contest this. This A site is their next hit.
Yeah, very passive for the 2A players. Shox and Pleasant are establishing the crossfire. A lot of respect being given in this 5v3.
Yeah, Molly does mean that Pleasant has to move a little bit far out, but the crossfire is just too good from Team Finest. There's nothing Imperial could have done there. Fnatic looking for some beauty. Given to some extent. Has to overlook here, has to over-push to try and get himself out of this, but no plants, no kills, nothing for Imperial. Team Finest look elated.
And in case you didn't know, Imperial played Astralis a little bit earlier on today. 14-16 loss on Nuke, 16-6 win on Mirage, their map pick, and 13-16 on Overpass. A tight series. One they could have taken in a 2-0, one they could have taken in a 2-1, and now they are down 9-13 on the second map, perhaps to be eliminated here on an eco. Could you get any further down than where you are right now?
No, Imperial are really being trampled over, stepped on, and put in the dirt full to the brim with mud. If I didn't want to make it any more gruesome, I'd say they're bloodied all over. Oh, okay. Well, that's a short path. But yeah, that's it, right? 14 for Team Finest. Imperial have to five consecutive to catch up. And Team Finest actually look as confident as I've ever seen them in this tournament so far.
Yeah, they faced up against an Evil Genius side in which they got a 2-0, convincing scorelines on both maps. Looking to try and see if they can do that up against Imperial. And just to think, a couple more rounds, and that will be us on the stage, in front of the crowd, in Sweden, in Lund. That could be massive. Absolutely massive for this team.
So big. Imagine the teams kind of looking to hit a run like this. Imagine, right? So many have gone past. You and me, we've covered a lot of Tier 2. We've seen failures and attempts and glories, but never have they had an instant opportunity to play in LAN. And Team Finest have, and they're doing really good in it as well.
And just to think of how they've been able to come back, the loss in the best of one, the 2-0 against EG, the potential 2-0 right now, up against the side of Imperial, a top 15 team in the world. And that will definitely be towards the higher echelons of a career-defining moment here for the team. And now they know, okay, few players over towards ramp early. Imperial bringing a lot of players out to the B stairs.
They really are. Molly's there to kind of make sure it's not an aggressive push, of course, but...
Kriaz?
Oh, Kriaz, yeah, he's going in for a piece of this, and he actually gets it.
Mate, I'm just looking at the radar thinking, hang on a sec, what's going on here? He was flying down that bottom ramp position. Flash over the top, and Pleasant's got one through the smoke again. 5-on-3 now, Finest.
Someone just put an optic fiber cable on this guy, because he is online. Speedy, quick connection. And now all of a sudden, just like that, out of thin air, Imperial are down by 2.
And just knowing that boost came through, there's 2 on B, at least.
So desperate to get the push on here. Twist not looking in the right direction at the right time, looking below in case the swing does come out there. Vinny looking to bring it back for his team. Might be able to do so. Bring things level. Down to a 2-on-2. Bolt needing to stabilize, but Anakes is close by. He's a shark in the depths of hell. Grabs his foot and takes him down under.
That's heard from Pleasant. You can already see the relocation coming back over. He knows FNX is going A.
He's read it. He knows. Anakes also coming soon. Flash over FNX. Oh, looking for it, but can't account for the second. Team Finest, map point, series point, 1 away to getting to play in front of their home crowd.
And it's the big man. It's Anakes again, the Israeli player playing with the Israeli org, one of the OG members of this entire lineup, to try and make the difference happen with the AWP getting 2 fantastic shots with the AWP from the back of the generators.
This was the only series ever in this tournament where all our members of the analyst desk thought that Imperial would win this. Thought that one particular team would win this, and it's Team Finest proving everybody wrong.
Vinny, Bolt, desperate for anything, get the mid walk forward, and Twist is so back passive, he's giving them the respect to take mid for free.
Oh, Twist, it's a little bit rough around the edges, but they get it done. Kriya sharks all of them together, coming alive. And Imperial, your time is over, really. Team Finest have quickly scrambled up this victory, as determined as ever. Vinny can only do something out of this world, out of this